because of the portability aspect. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Ecosystem of computers. Computing is crazy. We don't even think about it. I have no doubt that there are somewhere in the world IP-connected toasters. Why? I have no idea, but I know they're out there, right? I think about my automobile. I am actually uncomfortable with the amount of reliance I have on technology in that car. You know, you see, you know, refrigerators with internet connections. I don't know, but it's like everything is getting connected before we figure out whether or not there are really applications for them. People are just, you know, sticking IP connectivity to everything, which is a little bit disturbing when you think about it, because we're connecting everything before we know how that's going to happen or how they're really going to be connected. But yeah, we also have personal devices in the workspace. So you saw this, honestly, with the introduction of the iPad, particularly executives who wanted to be cool with the slim device that they could walk around and do email with and tap on it while you were trying to have a conversation with them. You know, that happened less at Microsoft, as you might imagine, but I saw it in a lot of other corporate environments. But yeah, so that portability, people like that portability. And I get it. That portability is, I mean, obviously we get it because we just announced our own similar device. But yeah, having that portable, easy access to whatever it is, instant on, whether it's email or the web or, you know, what have you, that's pretty potent stuff. And that fits right in with ubiquitous connectivity. We want to have the option of being connected anytime, anywhere. Wherever we are, we just want to have access to the internet, right? We're a consumption society. I don't know about you, but I actually get a little offended if there's not easy internet access in an airport that I'm in. It's like, come on, I'm paying all this money to travel. Least you could do is pony up for some internet. But anyway, and last part is essentially natural interaction. Natural interaction is something that we're going to see continue to grow over the next several years. Now, the thing about natural interaction is coming up with a balance. Any of you remember years ago that movie with Tom Cruise, Minority Report, where they're doing all the cool stuff with moving? If you think about it, all he was really doing was moving pictures around. Okay, he wasn't actually creating any data. He wasn't. He was just sticking stuff on different. I do that with a mouse click, moving windows around. It's not a lot of productivity. So you have to figure out a balance between what that interaction is on a slate device, what that interaction is on a laptop device, or on a desktop device. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not going to sit for 8, 12 hours in front of a computer and do this all day. My arms would get tired, and then I'd get grumpy. So I'm just not going to do that, right? So figuring out how all these things work together and figuring out truly what is natural interaction. Okay, maybe if that desktop was actually a screen on the desktop itself, I would do this. But I'm not doing this. I'm sorry. That's just, that doesn't make any sense to me. All right. So what do we got? What do we bring into the table here? Well, we've got Windows-based devices. You can see here laptop, phone, and slate. And it really is kind of exciting how these things are starting, to come together, because I have, when I look at it, hang on a second, let me get my little prop here. There are some similarities. It's not coincidental, okay? When you look at phone, when you look at where Windows 8 is going, our new Surface tablet, same kind of thing. It's that ubiquitous look and feel. And it's different. It is different. We have live tiles. I mean, when you look at, take for instance like an iPhone or an Android. These are great devices, I'm not knocking them at all, but it's basically a whole bunch of icons on the screen, whereas this is more of kind of moving between experiences, right? With those types of devices, you're into an app, you're out of an app. With this, you have a people hub, you have a gaming hub, you have a productivity hub. It's just a different way of viewing things. And that's kind of what we're going with. But on deeper, when you look at it, you have System Center and Windows Intune. So you have these server architecture backends that are specifically designed to not only manage existing laptops, desktops, etc., but also all of these other devices from Google, from Apple, etc., and connecting them all together, manage them in a way that doesn't have IT managers breaking out in cold sweats at night. Because ultimately that's what the bottom line is. Because IT departments typically will acquire stuff if they feel like it's not going to be an undue burden on their department. Productivity with Office 365, SharePoint, Link, and Exchange. I was talking about ubiquitous connectivity, and it's amazing to me how much over the past 15, 20 years work has become collaborative. I mean, it's kind of weird as I've seen things shift internally at Microsoft. It's like nobody works on a project by themselves anymore. It's a group for everything. And the fact that we have tools like SharePoint, Link, and Exchange that tie all that together actually expedites that process even more. So we really are becoming more of a collaborative work environment. And finally, with regard to application development, you know, I can say this confidently. I don't know anybody that does application development tools as well as Microsoft does, or as completely. When you look at all of the stuff we've got going on here with Visual Studio, you've got Internet Explorer 9, soon to be 10. You've got Microsoft.NET. You've got all the work we're doing in Visual Studio for HTML5, which is the foundation programming language for all of the Metro apps in Windows 8. I mean, it's a really exciting time to be a developer. I kind of muse when I look at, anytime I see .NET, it kind of cracks me up. I remember around 2000, 2001 when Bill made this big statement about .NET and what that would mean for the future. And even people internally were like, what? You know, and you know, it kind of made this big flash and then it kind of went away, but it really didn't go away. .NET's in everything. We just don't pay attention anymore. You know, it's so foundational to computing today, and yet people have completely forgotten about it. You know, it's a word you hear now and again, but for the most part, it's not even something that you know, really registers for most people. So that brings us to Windows 8. Windows 8 is an incredibly different operating system. How many of you have loaded and played with it? Anybody? Probably about 30% of you. And I guess the rest of you are staying on Windows 7 for the next 10 years until I come back and have that. Oh. You know, you could have lied to me. You know, it's funny. I remember way back when I was in college, I had a really hard professor, math professor, and he would ask a question and nobody would raise their hand. Finally, one day he got frustrated. He said, "You know what, guys? If all of you raised your hand, I'd be in the same position, but you'd look so much better." And, you know, but we were never brave enough to change that tactic. Anyway, so yeah, I know a lot of you are still on Windows XP, and when Windows 8 launches, maybe you'll say, well, I'll give Windows 7 a try. And that's fine. I understand that. I know Windows 8 is different. It's very different. It's going to intimidate some people. It's going to excite some others. There will be a lot of kinetic energy around Windows 8 launch, and people will be deciding, you know, do I want to try this new way? Do I want to stick with what I know? Do I want to be adventurous? Do I want to be conservative?